Everyone likes to win games in Chivalry 2, but there's just something that gets the blood flowing about delivering on a high kill, high KDA game. One of the questions I get asked the most on Twitch and YouTube is, can you make some guides on just how to get those high kill games? I'm Strider the Champ, and today I'll be getting you started on your path to pub stomping with my list of the top 5 weapons to smash public lobbies. In general, when talking about pub stomping, we want weapons that hit hard and swing through enemies, since very rarely will you be in a one-on-one fight. The weapons at the top of my list will take the smallest amount of mechanical skill for the highest reward. At the 5 spot, we have a weapon that is synonymous with the champ, and that's the longsword. Now, I've been quoted many times saying the longsword is the best weapon in the game, so why would I put it at the bottom of my pub stomping list? And the reason for that is the longsword requires a bit of a different and more precise skill set than the other weapons I'll be talking about. The majority of the player base only uses slash attacks. If you do that with a longsword, it will suck. For a longsword to really shine, you need to play around its stab attack. Stab attacks are harder to drag into multiple enemies and to just land in general, making this weapon have a bit of a higher skill barrier to entry. Also, a more speed-focused weapon like the longsword generally hits a bit weaker than the others, meaning you need to land multiple strikes on your enemies per skill. In a skilled player's hands, the longsword will be devastating, but I would rate this as the hardest weapon on my list to utilize. Number 4 on my list goes to one of the most badass weapons in the game, the greatsword. And now you'll see a common theme with what I'm about to say, but what makes this weapon devastating in team objective mode is its reach, power, and ability to swing through multiple enemies. With the long reach of the greatsword, swinging into a mob of enemies can lead to those wild triple and quadruple decapitation moments. And while these slash attacks are great, the sword really shines when landing overhead attacks just for insane damage. And what's nice about the overheads on the greatsword is because they're a bit slower, it's easier to drag them into multiple enemies than, say, a longsword stab. And now the only reason the greatsword is not higher on this list is there will be a very similar weapon coming up that's just a bit better at almost everything than the greatsword. At number 3, we have one of my personal favorite weapons, the Danax. And while the Danax may not have the reach of, say, your greatsword, what it does have is a combination of hard hitting while also being incredibly fast. This attack speed means you can chain together just devastating combinations of attacks on your enemies, leaving them little time to react to your offense. The Danax is almost like taking the speed of, say, a one-handed weapon, but giving it the damage of a two-hander, and it makes it very difficult to fight against. This weapon works great for someone who wants to feint overheads and slashes together to force out reactions from their enemies while you land free, hard-hitting attacks. For the second spot, we have the Messer, and this is what I alluded to as the better version of the greatsword. The Messer is an interesting weapon because it's kind of good at everything but great at nothing, meaning you can have a very consistent and diverse attack that can be hard for your opponents to predict. The Messer is long, it swings through targets, and it's still pretty hard hitting while maintaining enough speed that shorter, faster weapons can be dealt with. Similar to the greatsword, while the slashes are great, ideally you want to drag overheads through multiple enemies when possible, as just 2 basic overhead strikes will kill a vanguard enemy. The Messer has been kind of the meta weapon in Chivalry 2 since the game release, and I don't see that changing because it just offers such a diverse and strong skill set. Now at the top spot, we have a weapon that offers the highest team objective mode killing potential while taking the smallest amount of mechanical skill, and that's the Executioner Axe. The Executioner Axe very much rewards the playstyle of jump into a team fight, heavy slashes only, and walk away with 5 kills. Team damage be damned. The Executioner Axe has incredible and almost deceiving length, which allows you to drag it through an extremely large radius of enemies. The devastating strength of the slash attack means many times in team fights when opponents already have some damage, you can toss out one swing for multiple one-shot kills. This combination of insane slash damage, reach, and rewarding a very simplistic playstyle is why it tops the list, but be warned, playing only with the Executioner Axe can impede your mechanical progress as a player, but it is good fun from time to time. That's it for me, guys. I'm looking forward to seeing some high kill gameplays being posted in my Discord. Subscribe to the channel, follow on Twitch. Champ out.